Hi Leo, welcome to your March 2019 Tarology 33 reading. We have a Celtic card spread in front of us, which is normally a 10 card spread, but you guys got some extra cards that came out, and you actually got 2 cards that came out in reverse, so haven't seen that happen in a while. And then we have 2 Oracle cards and a Mudra card to get through as well, so there's quite a bit to get to. We'll start with the main spread though, one by one. In the main situation position, we have the Death card. So this is the Major Arcana card for Scorpio, and so it's definitely possible that some of you are dealing with a Scorpio, especially because when I did their reading, I was getting quite a bit of a Leo vibe there as well. Or, let's say if you're, I don't know, Leo Sun, but you're Scorpio rising, you might want to check out that reading too, because maybe it'll help you put some pieces together between the 2 readings. But with the Major Arcana, it doesn't always have to represent a person. Usually the court cards are more likely to represent an actual person, whereas with the Major Arcana, it could just be more karmic lessons. So this could just be saying in general you're leaving something behind. For the majority of you, if that's the case, it could have been the end of a relationship. And I think I remember for you guys for February, I was saying it felt like some of you were just leaving a relationship and not even telling the other person. So I don't know if that ended up playing out for you guys or not, but seeing this here, and then in the challenge position, you guys have the Ace of Cups in reverse. So that certainly seems to support that message. So this could be for some of you. And like I said in that reading too, I believe I was like, for some of you, it could have been vice versa, where maybe they were the ones leaving. But I really felt like maybe at least 80% of you, if that was the dynamic you were in, you guys are the ones who were doing the leaving. But maybe that's, just saying that if you were dealing with a Scorpio per se, with the Ace of Cups in reverse, maybe in the challenger obstacle position like this could just be saying that you couldn't get something off the ground with a Scorpio. For some of you, and this would be a much smaller percentage, this could be having trouble getting pregnant as well with the Ace of Cups in reverse. I would say it's not so much, it wouldn't necessarily be miscarriage with the Ace of Cups in reverse. That would be more of like the Empress in reverse, but that can be possible for some of you as well. I just feel like this would be more, if this is the dynamic you're dealing with though, this would be more having a difficulty getting pregnant and maybe possibly even giving up on it, at least for the time being with the Death card there, just saying, this isn't happening for us right now, the timing's not right, and maybe deciding not to do that. And then I'm getting this, I usually wouldn't see this with this combination, but given that the Chariot is in the foundation, this is another possibility I'm seeing too. For some of you, this could be letting go of some kind of addiction. With the Ace of Cups in reverse, let's say if that represented drinking, right? With it being in the reverse, it's to the point where it could be a problem for you. So with that and the Death card in the main situation, that could just be saying that, the challenger obstacle was your drinking. And then with the Death card in the main situation, it's saying that you're leaving that behind. And why I say that could be what could be happening there is because in the foundation position, we have the Chariot card. And the Chariot card is actually, it represents the sign of Cancer. It's the Major Arcana card for Cancer. And with the North Node in that sign right now, and that being your 12th house, that could help you clear out some addiction. So, that was just a basic example I gave you since it was the cups. But it could be any addictive tendency you have. Could be smoking, drinking, food addictions, you name it. Like, it could be almost anything. Just anything that's isn't serving you well, because with the North Node moving through your 12th house, it could really point out to you what those problem areas are. Those are like your blind spots a lot of the times with the 12th house. And that 12th house energy now, with the North Node moving through there, it could really be helping you to clear those areas of your life out if they've been causing a blockage for you in some way. And given that we have the Ten of Swords at the bottom of the deck as well, it could definitely be pointing to that for some of you. Maybe you guys went through some kind of an experience that really made you reevaluate, like, wow, you know what, I really can't be doing this anymore, whatever it may have been. But yeah, that's a pretty big vibe I'm getting. For some of you, it could just be more of a true relationship situation where, like I said, especially since last month, for some of you, it seemed like you were walking away from a relationship. But I'm kind of getting that vibe too, that this could be related to addictions of some kind. It could even be whatever, sex addiction, even, but just something that's coming to light for you and you're realizing that you're ready to leave it behind with that supportive energy moving through your 12th house. And in the past position, we have a few cards. We have the Moon, Strength, which is your major arcana card. And we have the Two of Swords. So, I mean, what I looked at when I saw this initially, the Moon card could also be pointing to not seeing things clearly. I always say to people, for me personally, I know a lot of tarot readers refer to this as deception. I'm like, maybe in the reverse, but for me in the upright, if anything, it'd be self-deception. So again, that could be pointing to that 12th house energy, the North Node moving through there, showing you areas where you might have been self-sabotaging in some way, shape, or form. But to me, this is just not seeing things as clearly as you normally would. The example I give is if you're in an unfamiliar room and it's dark, right? When the lights are on, you could see everything fine. You feel comfortable navigating through the room. But when the lights are off, you might feel your way around because you're not, on autopilot in that environment yet. You don't trust where everything is yet. So you're like, all right, you might feel around to make sure you don't bump into something. So that's all it is. It's like everything is out there, but you just might not be seeing it as clearly as you normally would, and you might have to feel things out a bit more in that regard. And then obviously this is your major arcana card, but what I see, since this is given that it's the past position, this could be pointing to something that happened back when you guys had the full moon in your sign, which was right at around January 20th or 21st. And it could just be saying that whatever happened around that full moon had you confused about which way to move forward. So, maybe you were faced with two options and you were really stuck trying to decide what to do. For those of you where that message resonated earlier, I was saying, some of you might have left the relationship behind. Maybe something came out during that full moon that had you really deciding, or rather having to make the decision between staying or leaving, right? And maybe that was what was going on for you guys in the past. But yeah, basically it could also just be saying for any situation, it doesn't have to necessarily be tied to that full moon. With the moon, you might not have been seeing things too clearly, and that might have made you feel stuck as far as making a decision. All right, in the present position, we have the King of Wands in reverse. So this is actually the court card that represents you guys. So it shows me that whatever was going on in the past, you're probably still not feeling too good about it just yet, given that this is your court card and it's in reverse. So, for some of you, it certainly could have been that someone left you behind if it was a relationship dynamic. Or for some of you, like I said, if you're facing some kind of addiction situation, that could have you feeling out of sorts. This could even be a health issue for some of you too. Maybe you guys are just feeling a bit drained, maybe even physically. Maybe you're recovering from something in a physical regard. With that Ten of Swords, that's possible as well. Maybe some of you had surgery or something like that. That's certainly a possibility. But, to see you in the Strength card there in the past with the moon and that confusion energy and then turned around here, definitely just seems like you're not necessarily, at least as we come into March, it looks like you might not be feeling quite like yourself. If that's the case, there's going to be some more supportive energy as we get towards the end of March, as far as the sun will move into the sign of Aries, and then, that's between that and having Jupiter and Sagittarius, the fire houses are going to be pretty lit up for you guys, so that can help get you turned around a bit. But at least coming into March, I have the feeling that you guys aren't feeling all that great. All right, and then near future position, we have the Eight of Wands. So this could just represent you coming out of that energy, or maybe there's just, a lot of communication going back and forth. Maybe regarding this decision, for example, maybe, all right, let's give it this angle. If the story from last month did resonate for you guys, then maybe some of you just up and left the relationship without telling the person. Maybe that's what you're feeling turned around about, Maybe it was because you weren't seeing something clearly, so that's why you did it. And maybe now you're reflecting on it a bit more and you're realizing, okay, was that the right thing to do, right? Maybe some of you are reconsidering that. Or even, let's say if someone left you, right? Maybe you're just feeling turned around about that. And maybe you're reaching out to them for clarity, like, especially if it was, like I said, the scenario where there was no warning, the person just left. That could be what this communication is about there. But the good thing is, if that's really the energy you're in, with the Eight of Wands and then the King of Pentacles in the position of your influence on the situation, it does look like you'll be getting turned around in a positive way. But it could just be more pointing to the fact that when this happens, you'll shift your focus more to finances. So especially if this was ending as far as a relationship goes, that's almost common for a lot of people, right? Something goes wrong with your love life, you throw yourself into your work or something else to keep you from really having a look at the situation, and dwelling on it, right? Which could just make things worse. So that could be what this is referring to. But I mean, given that this represents Taurus, this is actually the court card for Taurus. There's a lot going on in March with Taurus, because Mars will be in that house, and that's your house of social status, career. So that's why I'm saying you could definitely shift your focus to that area of life. And then Uranus actually moves back into Taurus as well. It was there for a bit last year, and then retrograded back into Aries. Now it's going back into Taurus for 7-8 years, I believe. So that could just really light up that area of your life, maybe have you making sudden shifts to really focus on that area of life as well. And another thing I could see too is you guys are actually going to have Venus in your 7th house, which could help repair situations. Like if you did, if you were feeling bad about leaving a connection, like I said, if you really did up and leave and you realized maybe it was because you weren't seeing things clearly, right? Maybe it was even tied to this addictive tendency you had. Maybe now that you're clearing that energy away, you're realizing, oh, wait, you know what? Maybe what I did wasn't right here, and you want to repair that. You do have, you'll have, anyway, for most of March, you'll have Venus in your 7th house, which could definitely help smooth things over in relationships. But at the same time, around the middle of the month, it's going to make a square aspect with Mars in your 10th house. So at least in that energy at that particular time, that could show a lot of you might choose to focus on finances rather than relationships. So, you might completely throw away the opportunity to fix something and say, you know what, I'm just focusing on my career right now. I can't be bothered with the relationship aspect. So that's an interesting dynamic, Usually when you have a Mars and Venus square, the Mars has a little bit more power in that situation. Just mainly because it's a slower moving planet, so the aspect will last longer with a Mars connection versus a Venus. Like a Mars aspect might last for a week and a half, let's say, whereas the Venus one might last 3 or 4 days. So, so that could be what's at play there. Like if you feel like you have to choose between the two, you might say, you know what, I'm just going to go with career. That could be what's going on for at least some of you. In the position of the environment's influence on the situation, we have the 8 of Swords and the Page of Pentacles. So the way I always explain this particular card is I say it's interesting to me compared to the other pages. I mean, all of the pages to me, I always say it looks like they have, I say, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, right? It looks like they don't have the most confident stance. And then with this one in particular, it looks like that pentacle is just out of their reach, right? It's like it's kind of in their hands, but they don't really have a firm grasp on it, as compared to the King of Pentacles, where, I mean, he clearly has a firm grasp on it. You could see all of that stuff around them, that abundance around them. So this could just be someone that feels stuck. in the situation with you because they might feel like they're not on your level, right? Like if you guys are both approaching things from that pinnacle energy, this person might see you as someone who has everything, and then they're like, well, what do I have to offer, right? What do I have to bring to the situation? So that could be making them feel stuck in some kind of way. And, so for those of you, if this was a potential relationship you were hoping they'd get off the ground, right? Maybe, like I said, with that Scorpio person, or, I mean, there's 2 water signs here, so it could definitely be a water sign, but it could be any sign in general. With that Ace of Cups in reverse, that could be saying that that's what it is. They might feel a little gun shy around you because they feel like they're not on your level. So something to keep in mind there. Whether you still want to be with them or not, that's up to you, but that could just be how they're feeling. And this could just be saying that they might feel like you're stuck in your ways too, as far as, if they were considering extending an offer to you, right? Because maybe that's what that Page of Pentacles is. They're thinking of extending an offer to you, but they're like, you know what, this person's set in their ways, it's not even going to go anywhere. So just something to keep in mind there for those of you who do want to get this connection off the ground. Like I said, with Venus in your 7th house, there is that opportunity, but you might have to put in some work to do so. And like I said, with that Mars energy, you might feel like more of a sense of urgency, especially with your Uranus joining the 10th house as well. You might feel more of a sense of urgency to focus yourself more on career. But if you are looking to get a love relationship off the ground too, just keep in mind you might have to put in a little bit of work for that, because the other person might feel like, they're not on your level right now. All right, in the hopes or fears position, we got the 4 of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords, and the 2 of Wands. So, I mean, I don't view the 4 of Pentacles as negatively as a lot of tarot readers do, but I will say with it in this particular position, I'm definitely going to lean more towards saying that this is more a fear of yours than a hope. So, this could just be saying that you fear opening up and communicating some truth and starting over with someone. Or maybe it's saying that, you're fearing opening up and communicating the truth, so instead you're choosing to start over, right? Could be a pride thing in that regard. Like I said, if you realize now after the fact that, hey, you know what, I walked away from this person, but now you realize that I wasn't seeing things clearly at the time, it wasn't right of me. With this card in the reverse, representing you, this could definitely say that this could point to pride and ego a little bit when it's in the reverse. So maybe that's the issue there. And then that the Taurus energy representing maybe being stubborn about it as well. That could just be saying that that's where you're at. Like, yeah, you know what? I could open up and be honest with them and say, hey, you know what? I made a mistake. I didn't, I shouldn't have left you, or whatever it was that you were doing that might have caused an ending. You could communicate to them, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. So some of you might just say, you know what, I'm just going to start over with someone else, somewhere else, Or for some of you, again, if this is still a continuing dynamic, where especially, like I said, if it's career versus relationship, some of you might have gotten a really great job offer, right? And it might cause you to have to move somewhere. And maybe that's what you've been reluctant to communicate to them. Like, hey, you know what, I got this really great job offer, so I'm going to take it, right? And then they might feel left out in the cold because of that. But, you're like, really, like, I need to make this move. Like, it's too good of an opportunity to pass up, right? So that could be what's going on there. And for some of you, it could just be, as opposed to just playing out as one story, it could be an either or scenario too, right? Like maybe you're feeling stuck right now, some kind of truth comes in. Maybe that's the saying in that regard. So, you're in this energy now. You're hoping for some truth to come in so you can move forward, right? So that would probably be more the scenario for those of you who, if someone left you, right? Maybe that's what the 8 of Wands is about. You're just trying to get closure one way or the other, like if they left you, like, what was that about? You know what I mean? You might be like feeling turned around, like, I don't get it. Why'd you leave? Maybe you're hoping for them to communicate with you about why they did it, even if not to necessarily repair the connection, but at least you could get closure about where it happened, because it might have seemed very sudden. I was definitely getting that sudden vibe from last month. So that could be what's up there. And then in the outcome position, we got the Queen of Wands. So this is actually the court card for Aries normally, but I mean, it is fire, so it could definitely represent you guys as well. If that's the case, going from the King of Wands in reverse to the Queen of Wands in the upright, that's definitely a good shift, an energy shift that you'll appreciate. Like I was saying, towards the end of the month too, the sun will be going into Aries, so that could help light a spark for you guys as far as a more supportive fire energy. And then I also look at not just what sign the card would represent, but also their ruler. And like I said, for all of March, it's going to be in your 10th house. So for those of you who are looking forward to some progress in career, it looks like there's definitely supportive energy for that. To me, that's not really in doubt. I feel like there's definitely some good energies for you guys as far as finances go. But on the love front, it looks like that can be there as well, but it looks like you guys would definitely have to put in some work for it, and I'm not sure you're in the headspace where you want to put in work for it right now. Like I said, whether it's just because you're so focused on career you can't place any energy towards that, or you just feel like there's not going to be any forward movement, or like I said, for some of you it could even be letting pride and ego get in the way as well. Then that could be the blockage there, and that would be saying Queen of Wands might be telling you, as opposed to that fixed energy, take on more of a cardinal energy and do something about it, But we'll see if the oracle cards can clear that up a little bit more for you guys. Seems like a bit of a heavy reading, but we'll see. All right. The first oracle card you guys got was Co-Create. There's the artwork for it, and the number is 40. So let's take a look at that. Okay, it says essential meanings: creativity, art, inspiration, fruition, manifestation. The oracle's message: you may not consider yourself a creative person, but in fact you are creating your reality every moment of every day via your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, intentions, and actions. Yet you must consider that you do so in partnership with spirit, consciousness, God, or whatever name you call your higher power. You are a spark of this intelligence that works through you, nudging you with inspired thought and intuitive guidance. You are a paintbrush that co-creates a beautiful, unique expression of your own individuality, blended with universal spirit. You are a product of divine inspiration, and now you're aligned with it to create miracles. When you view your life as art and know you co-create it, only beauty and grace result. Prepare to be amazed. So, hopefully that resonates for some of you guys, but as far as creation, maybe that's what the King of Pentacles energy is about there at the very least. Saying that now, okay, you're getting that forward momentum. I don't necessarily see anything too much pointing to intuition. I mean, like I said, I do see the two water cards there as far as the Scorpio and the Cancer energy. But with the moon in the past, if anything, that was, like I said, not seeing things necessarily all that clearly. Unless this is just pointing to saying that that's the end of that. So, but hopefully that message resonated with some of you. And then the relationship message says, connections of the heart serve to inspire you, opening you up to new ideas you would never have come to on your own. You are looking in a mirror held up by this experience and seeing yourself in an unexpected way. Who is this extraordinary being looking back at you? You are going to be so happy that you kept your heart open. Your love is a unique work of art now, the very embodiment of beauty. All right, like I said, I mean, hopefully for those of you who are looking for more of a love reading, hopefully that does resonate for you guys in a positive way. It just feels like, even if there is someone that's in you, it seems like you're going to have to put in some of the work there because, like I said, this vibe, the main vibe that I'm getting with these two cards together is that they feel like they can't move forward for some way. Which, to be fair, like I was saying, for some of you could be an ego thing from your end. Maybe that's also on their end too, like maybe that's what's holding them back from repairing things if they're the ones who left. So either way, this Eight of Wands in the near future shows that there needs to be some kind of communication if there's any chance for it to be repaired. Which one of you starts that, I don't know. I mean, it looks like this person's more shy, this person's more stubborn, but maybe with the Queen of Wands at the end, it'll be you guys who do end up opening up the communication at some point. All right, and the prosperity message says, flashes of inspiration give rise to great success when you receive this message. You are at your most creative now, and whatever you apply yourself to will lead to the fruition of your dreams. Remember that all your ideas are channeled from a higher source. You create your reality in partnership with Spirit. The potential for manifestation is unlimited now. Revel in its vastness. So again, like I was saying, just looking at this spread, it looks like, yeah, finances look like they actually would be on track for you guys this month and improving. Maybe that's what this energy is pointing to as well. You know, with this in a reverse, for some of you, the Ace of Cups could have even been a creative project you were trying to get off the ground and you were just struggling with it. Maybe as we move forward, you get more inspiration in that regard, and then you can move forward. And then the King of Pentacles here shows that there would be some kind of a success behind that. And you guys do have Jupiter in your 5th house, so that's house of creativity, and it's the house you naturally rule as well, so that could definitely help bring more ideas to you. So maybe these are just new ideas you get, and some of them end up taking off for you. All right. So I mean, normally these oracle cards really resonate with the spread almost perfectly. To me, it felt like that was a bit mixed there. Hopefully some of you got something either from the main spread or the oracle card, if not both. But yeah, I don't know. It didn't seem like it was right on point with the main spread for me, but hopefully it came across differently for you guys. All right, and then the next card you guys got was from the Spirit Animal Oracle. You guys got Otter Spirit. Says you are never alone. There's the artwork for it. Looks like 2 otters in like the shape of a heart, and then 42 is the number. Okay, it says, like true friends, otters nurture each other and express their affection through touch. Actions such as holding hands and giving hugs offer reassurance that we are never really alone and that we are always cherished. Otter Spirit has appeared to remind you to experience and express friendship in a tangible and even tactile way. Communicate with your voice, your facial expressions, your gestures, and your actions, letting your love express itself beyond just the words you speak. Otter Spirit's message is that presence matters, so remember to be fully present with those you care about, helping them sense the love and affection and appreciation you have for them. Now is the time for a joyful celebration of the love in your life that expresses as friendship and companionship. Hug someone, touch their arm, or simply look into their eyes with your full attention, saying, I care, you matter. Make time for friendship. Otter Spirit promises that the moment you reach out, you will remember that you too have many who love and care about you. You are never alone, and you are always loved. So I will say, Scorpio's actually got this card as well. So like I was saying earlier, some of you guys could definitely be dealing with the Scorpio or have a prominent Scorpio and Leo placement in your charts. But I mean, they had like the whole animal kingdom trying to talk to them in their reading. I think they got 3 of these cards, but yeah, that could definitely point to there definitely being some dynamic there between you and the Scorpio. Or like I said, if you guys have both those placements, definitely check out that reading as well. Might help you out with some other messages. And regarding the friendship vibe in general, it's not going to be until the very start of April, but in April, you guys are going to have Mars in your 11th house. So if this is just saying you're going through all this stuff, right, and maybe, you know, you do have a relationship that ended and you throw yourself into career, and maybe if you're just feeling, you know, not as fulfilled at the end of that month, as far as, you know, you still want some kind of connection, that could just be saying turn to your friends, because with Mars in your 11th, that could definitely help energize that area of your life for you at that point. All right, and then the last thing we have is a Mudra card, and you guys got the Avahana Mudra. So this is the actual gesture itself. So for those of you who haven't seen this before, the past couple months I've been doing this. Mudra is basically a gesture or pose that you would make usually while you're meditating. You can hold it for 5 minutes. Some say half hour, 45 minutes. If you're not someone who normally meditates, that would feel like an eternity most likely, but 5 minutes is at least good enough for you to try it. And the key word for this one is connection. And in general, these mudras are meant to clear blockages, whether they be physical in some cases, emotional, mental. So, if the message here resonates with you, you could definitely give it a try. So let me just try to get it focused. If you guys want to take a screenshot of the messages. Okay, there you go. And then I'll move it up a bit so you could see the rest of it. Alright, so yeah, it says here, benefits grounding and centering, improves digestion and assimilation, strengthens devotion and connections with one personal deity or principle of divinity, truth, etc. So, if that sounds like something that you guys can use help with, definitely check that out. I'll put that in the description as well in case you guys wanted to do a Google search or look it up on YouTube. Maybe there are videos about it there. But aside from that, we'll wrap up there, guys. Like I said, hopefully the Oracle messages seemed a little bit different from the main spread. So hopefully you got something from one or the other, if not both. But hopefully something resonated for you guys and you got something out of it. And I'll talk to you guys next month. All right, bye.